believe that Mr. McCarthy has earned the position of Speaker of the House because he raised $500 million to get Republicans elected.
The gentleman is not recognized.
That was Republican Congressmember Mike Bost back in early January when there was a House vote for Speaker of the House, and it took Kevin McCarthy 14 rounds. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. I'm showing you that video because it foreshadowed, if you will, or just showed us who the Republican Party is, what was to come, because over the past 24 hours, if you thought you saw it all with this MAGA Republican circus, well, think again, or perhaps you already thought this was going to go down. An actual fist fight was about to break out in the Republican conference caucus room, where they were trying to sort through what they were going to do, whether Jim Jordan was going to try to present himself for yet another vote to become Speaker of the House after being rejected over and over again, whether they were going to try to pick a consensus pro tem situation where Patrick McHenry, who is serving as Speaker pro tem, would get limited authority, whether they would work with Democrats. And of course, MAGA Republicans ruled that out right away because there's not a serious desire to achieve things the American people want. But as Kevin McCarthy was speaking afterwards, Matt Gaetz tried to speak and give a speech. And as being reported by Julie Grace Brufke over at Axios and others, Kevin McCarthy started yelling at Matt Gaetz, "Matt Gaetz, sit down, Matt Gaetz, sit down and shut up." And then Mike Bost, who you saw there from back in January, yelling at Matt Gaetz, he then did a new rendition of that, and according to people in the room, almost punched Matt Gaetz. Well, if you thought that fist fight breaking out amongst these MAGA Republicans wasn't possible, well, I don't know what you've been watching over the past, I would say, decade, but we'll refine it to since January, and we'll refine it a little more to over the past few weeks as they went from spineless Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy to speakerless. Just as a reminder for you, here is where the MAGA Republicans literally came to blows also during the Kevin McCarthy debacle, where he was eventually secured the Speaker of the House after 14 rounds of no votes. This is Republican Mike Rogers trying to take a swing at Matt Gaetz and then getting a headlock put on him to stop that from happening. Here, play this clip. All right, so where are we at with these MAGA Republicans right now? Well, you've got MAGA Republicans calling each other names. Here is Congressman Greg Murphy, who's an MD, responding to Nancy Mace, "We should not go home until we have a speaker." Congressman Murphy goes, "How about apologizing for causing this mess?" And then Congresswoman Nancy Mace, she was the one who wore the scarlet letter A when she walked into one of the voting rounds where Scalise was ultimately picked. And then she said that she wasn't supporting Scalise because she said Scalise was a racist, but she was supporting Jim Jordan, who covered up sexual abuse and who supported an insurrection. And then she went on the Steve Bannon show with Matt Gaetz after voting for Steve Bannon to be held in contempt of Congress. Yeah, that Nancy Base. Well, she calls Greg Murphy, she does an emoji of a pussycat, and she basically calls Republican Greg Murphy, and she's a Republican, the P word. And here is what she writes. If you want to vote against the people who elected you, that's on you, Greg Murphy. But I'm going to stand with them, not Washington. For context, tried to reply, but he blocked me after posting this. What a... And then she posts a pussycat emoji. And then Republicans have just been like threatening each other. There have been numerous Republicans who have actually reported that they received death threats, actual death threats. Congresswoman Miller Meeks said that she received death threats. Congressmember Drew Ferguson said that he received death threats. Ken Buck stated that he's received, that his family has received threats, and that his landlord is seeking to evict him. Here is Ken Buck. Play this clip.
Part of the reason that there's temper right now is this constant barrage of phone calls. I have 6 full-time people answering the phones. I have 20,000 messages from people where we couldn't. So far, I've had 4 death threats. I've been evicted from my office in Colorado. I have notice of an eviction because the landlord is mad with my voting record on the speaker issue. And everybody in the conference is getting this. So it's natural. Family members have been approached and threatened. All kinds of things are going on. There's going to be some tension.
4 death threats, Congressman, because you're not supporting Jim Jordan?
That's right.
Here is Kevin McCarthy talking about the incident that I alluded to earlier. Kevin McCarthy's like, oh, it's not a big deal. I just told Matt Gaetz to sit down. Here, play this clip.
Yeah,
Can you
until we
explain
get there.
specifically what happened with Matt Gaetz? Did you yell at him?
No. I was at the mic, I was speaking, and Matt Gaetz tried to interrupt us, so I told him to sit down, and we sat down.
What's your deal?
I think No, I told him to sit down. I think the entire conference screamed at him. People are, listen, the whole country, I think, would scream at Matt Gaetz right now. Remember, it was a crazy eights led by Matt Gaetz and every single Democrat that put us into this situation.
Did you know that poor sleep can cause weight gain, mood issues, poor mental health, and lower productivity? Sleep is the foundation of our mental and physical health and performance in our days. Having a consistent nighttime routine is non-negotiable. I know in my own life when I don't get enough sleep, not only am I irritable and grouchy, but my performance in work or in life suffers greatly. Introducing Beam Dream. You know we've been raving about Beam's Dream Powder, their healthy hot cocoa for sleep. And today, our listeners get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their best-selling hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Now available in delicious flavors like sea salt caramel, cinnamon cocoa, and chocolate peanut butter. Better sleep has never tasted better. Dream contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, and nano CBD to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. A recent clinical study revealed Dream helped 93% of users wake up feeling more refreshed, and 93% reported that Dream helped them get a more restful night's sleep. Just mix Beam Dream into hot water or milk, stir or froth, and enjoy before bedtime. I've personally tried Beam Dream, and it lived up to the hype. First off, it was delicious and just a lovely nighttime routine. And secondly, and most importantly, it helped me fall asleep and stay asleep. The next day, I woke up ready and eager to take on all life's challenges and tasks. Find out why Forbes and New York Times are all talking about Beam and why it's trusted by the world's top athletes and business professionals. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/legalaf and use code legalaf at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/legalaf and use code legalaf for up to 40% off.
Here is how CNN has described the death threats that Republicans are directing at each other. They called it a conservative pressure campaign. Here, play this clip.
Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy was also in the room. Interim Speaker Patrick McHenry was also there. But afterwards, Wolf, every single holdout that we talked to said their minds are not changed and they are standing firm in their opposition to Jim Jordan. In fact, during that meeting, we're told that they encouraged Jim Jordan to drop out of the race and that they delivered a pretty blunt message to him, which is that you're not going to be Speaker and this is the right thing for you to do, which is to drop out of the race. And then something else that came up during the meeting, Wolf, are these threats that some of these holdouts are now facing because of their vote against Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, of course, has denounced those threats. And during the meeting, he denied that he has any involvement in what has been an outside conservative pressure campaign at targeting some of these holdouts. So we'll see whether Jim Jordan is planning to carry ahead with this vote afterwards. Patrick McHenry, the acting speaker, said there are no decisions yet in terms of a floor vote and timing on that. Jim Jordan just said it was a good discussion, but we're told that if he goes ahead with another vote, he might bleed even more support. So at this point, Wolf, it is very clear that there is no solution in sight to end the chaos that has reigned in the House Republican Party for weeks now. Wolf.
Good point. Here is Congressmember Don Bacon saying that he will not be intimidated and that others won't be intimidated by the death threats that they're receiving. Play this clip.
It made us mad, and it backfires. You can win us over. Some of the younger folks, maybe that kind of works, but someone like me, Steve Vollmack, Mario Diaz-Balart, you can win us over with an argument that makes sense. You're going to have to convince us, right? And threatening us does not work.
And meanwhile, you have Jim Jordan acting like a member of the mafia. The Republicans already call themselves the Five Families. Here is what Reuters was able to photograph in Jim Jordan's hands, apparently, when he was meeting with the people who oppose him, who, by the way, still say they oppose him. He would slip them a napkin that says, "What's the real reason?" And there you see his hand on the napkin that he was slipping to the people who were his opponents. What's the real reason? I mean, it's just so bizarre, folks. We previously told you about how Hannity was sending, staff was sending kind of threatening messages to Republican members who weren't supporting Jim Jordan, threatening to expose them. It's just like threats, death threats, all around. And it's just a complete and utter mess. Here is Matt Gaetz, who initiated the chaos in the House. He's outraged about empowering the Speaker pro tem, Patrick McHenry, and he just has some stupid line about, "I'm against the Speaker Light, I'm against Bud Light." Here, play this clip.
I think that I'm against Speaker Light, I'm against Bud Light. I believe it is a constitutional desecration to not elect a Speaker of the House. We need to stay here until we elect a Speaker. And if someone can't get the votes, we need to go on to the next person. But twisting and torturing the Constitution to empower a temporary Speaker is having a Speaker Light that is not constitutionally contemplated, is deeply infirm, and I will do everything possible to stop it.
And here is Republican Jim Banks saying we don't deserve the majority again. Play this clip.
There's nothing I've ever wanted more in this Congress than for Jim Jordan to be the Speaker of the House. He is the fighter that we need for our country. And what they're doing right now is walking the Republicans off the plank. We don't deserve the majority if we go along with a plan to give the Democrats control over the House of Representatives. It's a giant betrayal to our Republican voters.
Yeah, and basically where we are, Jim Jordan, after learning that he's going to be opposed, he's not, at least as of this recording, that he doesn't have the votes to become the Speaker. He's going to put it back for another vote on the House floor, and he's going to, I guess, make people stay there for the weekend. This is Jim Jordan. Play this clip.
I'll just say this. We made the pitch to members on the resolution as a way to lower the temperature and get back to work. We decided that wasn't where we're going to go. I'm still running for Speaker, and I plan to go to the floor and get the votes and win this race. But I want to go talk with a few of my colleagues. Particularly, I want to talk with the 20 individuals who voted against me so that we can move forward and begin to work for the American people.
And the supporters of Jim Jordan basically also say, never make a deal with the Democrats at all. No coalition governments. Here's a statement by Elise Stefanik, for example, of her saying, people did not, no way will we ever make a deal with Democrats. I mean, just grow up for real. Grow up. I mean, the American people, coalition governments exist all the time. And if you don't have the votes, the solution isn't just do the same thing over and over again that doesn't work. That's the definition of insanity, literally the definition of insanity. So let's figure something out, but nope, just threatening, fighting each other, complete and utter disarray, chaos. It's shameful to watch, but we're reporting on it here. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers at the MeidasTouch Network, and have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.